Scott. Welcome back to my home and my kitchen. Last week I had an email from a guy named Sean asking me if I could prepare my recipe for chili. It's the perfect day. It's a little chilly outside, so I thought I'd make my chili inside. So let's get started. Okay, this is my recipe for chili, and what I've done is I've actually went through and did a lot of research and found all of the really great award-winning chili recipes that I could find. And I took what I liked from each different recipe and combined those into what I think is a really delicious recipe. And this is what you'll need to get it together. You'll need 2 pounds of ground beef, chili grind if possible. In this recipe, I'm actually using 2 pounds of ground buffalo chili ground. It's really good. It adds a nice sort of richness to the dish, but by all means use ground beef if you don't have or don't like buffalo. I have 1/2 of a grated yellow onion, and that comes to about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of the grated onion. Just do that on a cheese grater or in your food processor. It works great. 2 cups of beef stock, which is very important. You're going to need 8 ounces of tomato sauce. You'll need some cayenne pepper. And then in your supermarket or in your spice shelf, look for a light chili powder and a dark chili powder. At the supermarket, just hold them up. You're looking for something a little lighter colored and something a little darker colored. You can also use a little bit of chipotle pepper, chipotle chili powder if you like a little spice to this. And I'll give you the measurements for all these as we go along because they get added in different increments. Aside from the chili powders, you'll also need some cumin, paprika, a tablespoon of garlic powder, and a product that I really like a lot, and it's called Better Than Bouillon chicken base. You can find this in most supermarkets. If you don't have Better Than Bouillon chicken base, use a dry chicken base or chicken bouillon. Works just fine. Salt and pepper. And you'll need a nice size pan to get all this together in, which I'm preheating now. So in our pan, we're going to add just a little bit of oil, just to coat the bottom of that pan, and in is going to go our meat. Alright, I've got my beef added. I'm going to add my grated onion. That's, like I said, about a 1.5 to 2 cups of the grated onion. And I just want all of these flavors to combine while that meat is nicely brown. We don't want to get it too brown, just lightly brown. So give it about 4 or 5 minutes or so, and then we'll come back and add the rest of the ingredients. I've let my meat and the onions brown just lightly, and it started to give off a little bit of its natural juice, and that's just fine. Just cook it over a pretty high flame until most of that juice starts to evaporate, and you can see the bottom of the pan without any excess juice. At this point, what we want to do is add our 8 ounces of the tomato sauce. It's right in there. And then our 2 cups of the beef stock, and I just pour that into the can to get any of the extra, and the rest goes right in. Give this a stir, get everything well combined. I'm going to bring it up to a boil, and then once it boils, we're going to reduce it down to a simmer and let that simmer for about 30 minutes. The chili's been on the stove for about 30 minutes, simmering away. Most of the liquid has evaporated, which is exactly what we want. And like I said, I kept the heat right about medium-low to a medium, kind of turned it around and stirred it occasionally, just to make sure nothing was sticking to the bottom. So at this point, what we want to do is add 1 tablespoon of our light chili powder. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of the dark chili powder. 1 tablespoon of our garlic powder. Half a tablespoon or so of ground cumin. Half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. That's going to add a nice spiciness to it. Half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, and 1 teaspoon of the chicken base. And like I said earlier, if you're not using the chicken base, you can substitute that with chicken bouillon or a dry chicken stock if you like. So give all of this a stir, and you'll immediately start to smell all of those great spices sort of coming out of the mixture. Once you get all of this combined, keep the stove right around a medium-low to a medium, and let this cook for about an hour. Come in every 10 minutes or so and give it a stir. And if your mixture starts to get too dry, add a little bit of water, like a 1/2 cup at a time, just to keep it a little bit malleable. Alright, so I'm going to let this go for 1 hour, and then we'll be back to finish it up. The chili's starting to look really nice and it is smelling absolutely delicious. I just wanted to show you sort of what this looks like in the pot. Most of the liquid has evaporated, and that's just going to come from cooking it with no lid on it for this long. I did add about a half a cup or so of water about halfway through, and I stirred about every 10 minutes or so. So this is the consistency we're looking for, sort of lightly moist but more solid than not, if that makes sense. Okay, at this point what we want to do is add a few more of our ingredients. We're going to go back to our light chili pepper, or our chili powder, sorry, and add 1 tablespoon of the light chili powder. And we're going to go back and get another tablespoon of our dark chili powder, which is just about all I have left. And half a tablespoon of the cumin. Goes right in. And now the paprika. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of paprika. We're going to give this a nice little stir. At this point, we want to check it and probably add another 1/4 cup of water or so. We're going to put the lid on it just slightly askew, just about like that, and let this cook for another 30 minutes. So I'm going to add my water, come back in 30 minutes, and get it plated up. Alright, it's been just about 30 minutes. I did add about a 1/4 cup of water right toward the end to give it the consistency that I like. Now this is my chili recipe. A lot of people like beans in their chili, and that's very easy to do. At the beginning, instead of adding the 2 pounds of meat, you could add 1 pound of meat and 1 pound of beans. In this case, I have not added any beans, obviously, and this is great as a topping for hot dogs. It's delicious. It's great over Fritos with some cheese and jalapenos. It's delicious. But my favorite way to have this chili, aside from just by itself, is on top of French fries. So that's exactly how I'm going to have it tonight. I just fried these fries up. So I'm going to put a nice helping right down here in the bottom of my bowl. And then give it a nice little douse of the chili right over the top. Yum. And then of course, you can't go without a good helping of cheese. There you go. Let's give it a taste. This is great on a cool night with a nice bottle of beer. It's perfect in front of the TV and movie, whatever. So let's give this a little taste. It's really good. The chili flavors come through very well. That really comes from the layering we did by adding some chili, letting it cook, and then adding more chili. It's absolutely delicious, and I think you and your family and your friends will love this recipe. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and please feel free to email me at scottindenver@msn.com should you want to make a comment on this recipe or ask me to prepare one for you. I'll be happy to. Alright, have a good day. Bye.